Hey, you ever been to Chancellor Park? That's where I live. My name is Tavin Dillard, and I live in a trailer park called Chancellor Park, and I mow lawns. I'd like to introduce you to my town. I've been making YouTube videos since about 2006, and then I've transitioned over to other platforms like the TikToks and the whatnot. But here on this podcast, I'd like to clue you into what's going on with me here lately. And this is like the pre-introduction. Now I'm going to send it off to myself for the real introduction. I'm glad you joined me. Bink, bink. Well, hey everybody, it's the Tavin Dillard podcast. My name is Tavin Dillard, and the podcast is called the Tavin Dillard podcast because it's me just telling you about what's going on, you know, my town, that kind of thing. I hope you had a very Merry Christmas, and this is the last episode, season 1 of my podcast. It's supposed to end, a couple episodes ago, but I decided, like a month or so ago to do a Christmas episode. I hope you enjoyed that one last week, and then I thought, well, we just got one more week in the year, might as well finish this year out, and then we start season 2 after the new year, and so that's where we's at, is that we going to do this Q&A podcast episode. I ask folks if they want to email me a question, and then I give them answers, and so that's what we're doing today. Now, one of the things I didn't know is what people wanted to ask, because you don't know that. You say you send a question, and once you send a question through the emails or whatever, or if you hand wrote a letter or whatever it did, tied it on a pigeon's leg. Anyhow, then when I see that, that's what I know your question is, and then I gotta know. Then I kind of know, where to go with it. So one of the things I didn't know is if you had questions just for me in my town, what I do, or like Joel Berry, who's like my manager, and he do video stuff. And if you got questions about, oh, I like videos or whatever, well, I don't know nothing about it, but I can tell you that. So most of the questions are for me, but I'm going to bring Joel Berry in at the end of this episode to talk a little bit about how the sausage is made, so to speak. Speaking of that, I like some good sausage and pancakes kind of thing. I don't know if you have meat math, but I got math with the meat. I just realized this is how I do things. Like if I get sausage, let's say I get 2 patties of sausage. Well, if I'm going to get the bacon with the meal instead of sausage, I double it, and I'm going to get 4 strips of bacon if I got 2 strips of sausage, two sausage patties, because I don't know what it is. That's just how it is. It seems like I need twice as much bacon as I ever do sausage. Maybe that's just, how it should be, or that's just how it is with me. But I was thinking about that. So anyways, Joel's just going to jump in here at the end. I'm going to let him come on and just talk about some of the questions that I ain't got answers to. But there are questions I do have answers to. Here's the first one. Swizz, he emailed me. He said, what would your team, Bud's Burger Shed, y'all know that's our softball team, the season just ended, what would you win if somehow you pulled out a miracle? Of course, he sent this before season ended, so you heard that episode, and you know that we didn't end up winning the championship. We didn't get to go to playoff championship. I guess if you look at the rankings, it's like we third overall in the last 2 teams played in the championship, but Bud's Burger Shed wasn't in it. But the question was, if you pulled out a miracle and won the playoff championship, what would you get? Like a bigger snow cone and a normal thing? You probably get your regular snow cone. I didn't ask about that because it's kind of like a need-to-know basis. Like, I didn't win it. Once you were there and then maybe you do win, then you're like, hey, what are we getting? What's the reward kind of thing? But I do know there's trophies, but I think it's just one trophy, kind of thing. And then you get your team picture like on a plaque, depending on if you sponsor by, like if Bud's Burger Shed won, we would have had a photo on a kind of plaque thing at the Burger Shed, and then Bud would have had to build a shelf to put that trophy on because he ain't got a shelf because he ain't never sponsored no softball team before. So, yeah, it's all new to him. I think he's happy we got as far as we did, but that's probably what would happen. One trophy, one pitcher. And you get the free snow cone, I bet, too, because if you won a regular game during the season, they get the free snow cone. Maybe they give you a little more ice in it, like it's like a doubled up version, like a double dip, like they do the double scoop on an ice cream cone. They do that, but make the snow cone. But that's just my guess because we didn't get that far. The next question is, do you think Mary Beth Tucker's ever going to try funnel cakes at the concession stand? Well, if she heard it, the thing about Mary Beth Tucker is she's a lot like when you come home and your dog gets easily distracted because he sees something shiny, or he sees something in the yard or whatever. Well, if Mary Beth Tucker hears something like, oh, nachos, oh, chili, oh, hot butter dinner rolls, softer than a baby angel's leg. If she hear about it, she's like, well, why don't I try that? So if she heard it, she'd probably try funnel cakes. I think that's a little more work. I don't know. I ain't never made a funnel cake. But I tell you this, I did hear that her workload after the new year is picking up at the veterinary, and she's helping, I think, put a fence up on her daddy's property. Her and Russell Tucker. Russell's her older brother. I think they're supposed to help with that. But anyhow, we may have different folks after the new year running the concession stand in our town, so that's how that's going to go. And then somebody asked me if I have a riding lawnmower. No, I don't. But when I get them jobs, a lot of times folks that hire me for a big job, they got one they let me use. And then I just use mine, but just cut it. I don't want to do that kind of thing. And then other times I can rent one if I need to. But I ain't got a riding lawnmower. And, I think about you got to prioritize what you really need. And right now I'm thinking in 2022, I need to get like a vehicle, which is another question that got asked, like, what kind of car am I saving up for? And I just need, like, I'm thinking it's going to need to be a truck, but like a smaller truck, just one of them little ones, like a S10, like them old Datsun pickups. Them ones that just, it's got a bed in it, because the stuff I deal with, it's a mess. You want something to haul your lawnmower. If you got any kind of other fluids that you need to go along with that lawnmower, you don't want it clanking around in the back seat of a car. So I'm thinking, like, if I can get a little truck, used truck this year, that's going to put me in better shape than buying a riding lawnmower. At least, I've needed a truck more than I've needed a riding lawnmower, put it to you that way. Because I ain't afraid to tackle 2 acres with a push mower if I have to, kind of thing. So it's like, that's how that go. So I hope that kind of answered your question. Another question, what are your thoughts on turkey bacon? I don't think about it. That don't take up none of my thoughts. I think if you're going to eat bacon, you just need to go straight for it. And if you want turkey, have a turkey sandwich or just eat a turkey leg, because bacon's already got it figured out. You ever heard if it ain't broke, don't fix it? Then that's how that goes for that. Bacon, bacon, bacon. Pig, pig, pig. Pork, pork, pork. That's the kind of thing. That's bacon. All right, so Charlie's asked a few of these questions. He emailed them in. He said his kiddo wants to know if I've seen other strange things like a peacock with a squirrel in a headlock. Well, I ain't never seen a peacock with a squirrel in a headlock. That was something that I asked Myron Curtis when he wanted me to guess what he got for his birthday. I said, well, did you get a portrait of a peacock with a squirrel in the headlock? And he's like, no. And I said, did you get a tetherball in a backpack? He's like, no, because I don't want to guess. So I was trying to guess things that, that would just be way out there that he probably didn't get. And it ended up, what he got was a moped, if you remember last year. So I seen some strange things, but you probably heard about a lot of them in my videos, Delma Spencer running. Trying to rob a fireworks stand in flip-flops, and that went south real quick. But no, I ain't seen super crazy stuff. I ain't seen, like a squirrel on the back of a turtle wearing a cowboy hat or nothing like that. But I've had some pretty wild dreams. I may do more videos this year about some of my dreams I had, because, boy, them's something else. You in the middle of an adventure when you're getting them dreams. Okay, where do I shoot my TikToks from? Is it from my bedroom? That's utility room in the trailer. Like when you walk in, you got washer, dryer, which you don't see that in the room where I shoot in that corner, but that's just kind of like, it ain't like my bedroom and it ain't like my living room. It's like a utility room, but I also am shooting now in the living room, and that's the one, it's a little more, well, it's just more comfortable sometimes, because, in the utility room, I just sit on a stool kind of thing, but in the living room, I got like a chair, it's comfortable. It actually reclines. I don't want to brag, but I got a recliner. So that's where I'm shooting from. Charlie sent me a bunch, and I'm trying to get to everybody's, and I'm answering all of them here. So just about think. He said, would you say my 2 sons' name in a TikTok? How about this? How about I say it in the podcast? Hey, Owen and Jack Bannon. Thanks for watching my videos and listening to my podcast. And thanks to all y'all for watching my videos, been listening to my podcast. It was a big year, for I didn't didn't have no podcast until, what was it, September's? And then it was kind of just to see if it needed to go anymore. And right now it seemed like makes sense to keep doing another season at least, and then you kind of reevaluate. That's how you do with life and business, with my lawn mowing and pickup trucking I'm doing, trying to figure out what's the best thing to get next, all that kind of stuff. What do you think about battery powered lawnmowers and lawn equipment? Will I go green? I don't mind them. I've had them. I had them. Sometimes, it ain't about, to me, it ain't about having the two-stroke engine and the gas and oil or the battery. It's like, what's reliable, what works. I had a battery-powered mower that would not work for a year, and I just parked it and used the gas one, and then I go back and try it again, and now I want to work. I was moody, and to me, that didn't put the battery on in good favor with me, because I was like, well, you're going to throw a fit for a year, and then you say, okay, I'm going to work again, kind of thing. I don't know about that, but if it's working, I'm using it, kind of thing. All right, B. Willis, he said, what kind of rope do I need to use to pull my mower? He mentioned yellow nylon rope. No, that ain't going to work. That nylon, I mean, you tie that in it unties itself. It got a mind of its own. That yellow nylon, you ain't using that to really hold stuff together in a knot. That thing knows how to untie itself. I don't know how, but it ain't helpful. That ain't a helpful rope. I got that just a manila rope, and it's just kind of, the three strands that are twisted, and that thing go, and you can figure out how to do the right knot. That's going to matter if you tying it, to your back seat and then to the handle of the mower like I do, and you just pull that thing behind you. You don't want too much rope behind you, but you want enough, because if you got to stop quick, you don't want to get hit in the back with a lawnmower. Trust me. And that's why I'm saying, I think, this next year, sooner than later, I need to figure out this truck thing, because I love being on my bike. Don't get me wrong. But pulling a mower on the bike, man, that can get a little crazy sometimes. You get off a curb, or sometimes, I hate to admit it, but I forgot that I was towing that thing. So I try to, pop a wheelie or, ramp off a curb a little more, and you can get a speed wobble, or that thing will like yank you back. It's kind of like you're tethered to it, like you a dog on a leash. And so you got to be careful that you don't eat it on the way to a job and you show up bleeding out your elbows and your knees, kind of thing. So that's how that go. And somebody said here, John LeBeau said, do you know the I Like to Make Stuff guy? That's a guy, if you've seen him on YouTube, his channel's I Like to Make Stuff. His name's Bob Claggett. He's in Kentucky. And did I know that he made a Zipline? I did not know, but after I got this question, I sent a message to Bob. I said, you got a Zipline? He goes, I sure do. And I think he said it's like, I don't know, 75 feet long, or surely he didn't say 175 feet long, but it seemed long anyway. And this question here said, would love to see you at his farm taking it for a test ride to see if you can have him build one at the trailer park. I'll tell you this, John, right now, I'm not kidding. I messaged Bob and I said, you got a Zipline? He said, yeah, I do. I said, I may need to come check that out. He said, anytime you come on out, kind of thing. So, I mean, that's as far as it got right now. Then it's got to get into, me traveling over there to Kentucky and then getting on that Zipline and doing it like Gataway. So, that's how that worked. That's the plans right now. And then we got a little old, just a preview of next week, because next week's going to be, we're heading into January and a new year, and there's been talks floating around that they's going to do a winter adult softball league, and is we going to get a team together, kind of thing. And in my mind, we got a team together. It's like, why break up your team when it's working? But, you got to see everybody's schedule, because folks may have other things they got doing, after the New Year's, and they don't work schedule or other things where they'll be like, I can't do it. And then you got to change up the roster a little bit. So we see about that. And that's coming up after the New Year. And then now they got some questions here. These are for Joel. These ain't for me. So I got Joel Berry here, and he's going to answer some questions about, I don't know, videos and stories and stuff that I don't care nothing about, because I'm busy lawn mowing and, talking to y'all guys. So, okay, Hold on, here we go. Joel. I gotta let him in my trailer. Come here. Hey, Tavin. Hey, Joel. I gotta go put another load in the dryer. Why don't you talk right here? If you look up here, these are these questions, and they say for you. Just answer them, buddy. Okay, I'll do that. Hey, everybody. Joel Berry here. Here's some questions Josh sent in. He asked me how much of Tavin's stories / videos are planned out versus ad-lib. Well, I started shooting Tavin videos in 2006, and at the beginning they were just ad-libbed. I would just talk to the camera. I would shoot for 7-10 minutes, and then I would try to edit it down to 2 or 3 minutes. I would just ramble, and Tavin would just go, and then I would try to trim it down later. But getting on TikTok a year ago, I realized I had a 1-minute time limit, and I did not want to edit. I wanted to shoot it vertical, all in one take, and I think there was a lot of value to that. Because my strengths, Joel Berry's strengths, are writing and acting. I can edit, I can shoot, I can light, I can direct, but I'm not particularly great at those things, so I'd rather drive on my strengths, which are writing and acting. Because you see some crazy videos on TikTok where people are doing some very intricate, impressive editing, and that's not what I drive on, and they do stuff I can't do. And I'd like to think, there's strengths I have that other people don't, so I'd rather double down on those. So a lot of Tavin videos I like to plan out, unless it's a joke and a punchline. But if it's a detailed story with a lot of layers, I'd like to spend more time kind of hammering out the idea. And ideally, I do some writing sessions. So the second question here is, how much time is spent editing and posting versus actually recording a video? He says, you post a lot of content. I'm sure writing takes a lot of time, recording takes a lot of time, editing, post takes a lot of time, right? Editing, there is no editing or post-production for the most part for most of the videos that I'm shooting right now, because I do them in one take, and when I'm done, they're done being edited, right? So, but the writing does, because the writing is the strength, I think, of the content that I produce, and so there needs to be a story, a beginning, middle, and end, and it needs to be funny. And recording can take a lot of time, so I may do sessions where I just, take a chunk out of my day and write, so that I can then shoot 4 or 5 or 6 videos and then have them ready to go, as opposed to trying to wing something out every day and you're just trying to tread water. I don't like that feeling, and I think I do better when I've really invested, quality time. So that means discipline, which means sleeping less, getting up earlier, staying up later, around other things that I have to do. But I mean, in any discipline, anybody that's trying to do something that isn't completely paying the bills, but it's something you enjoy, then you either find a way to do it or you don't. And so that's kind of how it goes for me. Any tips on maximizing time and effort? Yep, so schedule it. I started the first season of the podcast that's ending today. I started writing in August, and I would write an hour a day, 5 days a week, and I got the 14 episodes hammered out doing that. And it was just nice to know that that hour was set aside every day. And if you don't set aside the time, then you know how it is with life gets busy, and we just end up talking about what we want to do, but we never do it. So schedule it, write it on your schedule. If it's not in your schedule, it's not in your life. And then another question was Bun Treadwell. Josh brought up, he saw the video Catch a Whisper by the Tail. That music video was posted on YouTube probably 11 or 12 years ago, and it got about 11 or 12,000 views. And then, of course, with all eyes on TikTok now as opposed to YouTube, it got up more views than that. I think it's probably 15,000 or something in a week or so, on TikTok, after it had existed on YouTube for 11 or 12 years. So you're just asking about Bun Treadwell, and that people liked it. That's cool. I had the idea for the song. I'm not musical. I have friends that are musical, so they help me with composing and coming up with the music. I'm typically the idea guy often, and I write lyrics, and writing is what I like to do. And then the music stuff comes from other friends. And then the last question here is, how big is Sweet Tea Films?
I am Sweet Tea Films. And then if I have other bigger projects, I hire, contract out for help, which, like I said, I like to do more because I prefer not to direct if I don't have to. I prefer to write and act, but I've learned to do all of it, being a smaller production company. And then my family helps too. So folks that live with me. Do you have other staff who help out? Yeah, so that answers that. So those are all the questions for me. I appreciate you guys watching the videos and listening to the podcast and sharing it. And I'm going to scoot. I'm going to bring Tavin back in, and he's going to wrap up this season 1 of the Tavin Dillard podcast, not the Joel Berry podcast. So I'm out of here, and hopefully he's got the clothes out of the dryer. Tavin, hello. All right, thanks, Joel. Hey, y'all guys, finished a little laundry. I don't know if Joel's going to hang out on the porch of my trailer or if he's heading home. I don't know, but I got to wrap this thing up, because that's what we doing. And I ain't just wrapping up this podcast kind of thing. I'm wrapping up this year, the 2021. So thank y'all for joining me on the Tavin Dillard podcast, listening to the adventures in my softball season and all kind of things. It all started back in September's with a black nanner. And here we are. I hope you had a great 2021. And I'm looking forward to 2022 with y'all guys. Get a little sleep. And we'll be talking hopefully real soon. I mean, if I say next year, that sounds like a long time away. But really, if you think about it, it's next week. So that's how that go. But I appreciate y'all guys. Have a great week. You can rate this thing on iTunes if you ain't yet. You're like, boy, I like this podcast. Well, I ain't asking you to pay me, but the thing you can do is throw a little, rating out there on the thing. You can do it that way. And you can check the link in the show notes for my merch and also the Wag Bar. You've heard about them this year, premium Wagyu beef. Check the link. You want 10% off a Wag Bar order. You can use the code TABIN. I'll have that in there. And you can also text me. That's there too. Happy New Year, y'all guys. Appreciate you. Until next time, we'll see you later.